Before this video starts, if you enjoyed this video, there are many more like it already on the channel with many more like it to come in the future, so subscribe. I am trying to hit 125,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would really appreciate it. I upload 7 days a week on this channel, so if you're looking for some consistent basketball talk, this is the place for it. Also, drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second and makes a massive difference. So, the Los Angeles Lakers officially beat the Denver Nuggets in 5 games in the Western Conference Finals, which means they are heading to the NBA Finals. And rightfully so. I have been catching a lot of heat because this was not what I predicted. I predicted the Clippers would be going to the finals. I expected them to beat the Lakers in a 7-game series, and that obviously did not happen as the Clippers got bounced out in the first round by the Denver Nuggets. And unfortunately, I got caught in kind of a loop here where I started off the year and started off, the season with the Lakers being what they are, kind of hating on them. Like, not even kind of, I definitely was, because I made a video on why the Lakers lost the Anthony Davis trade, because I had it in my mind that the Lakers were going to lose in the playoffs this year to the Clippers, and Anthony Davis was going to leave, because I really felt like that was something he was going to do. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I was so compelled to believe that, especially being that he forced himself into LA, and he's especially not doing that now. But at the time, I thought there was a pretty high likelihood that was going to happen, and the Lakers had just traded their future away for 1 year of Anthony Davis to lose in the conference finals. So that was my take at the time. And I also thought that their record to start the season was overrated, and I still feel that way, because I don't remember what the exact record was, but it was a ridiculously good record. However, they also had one of the easiest schedules in the league for the first 20 or so games. So what I said was they're not going to be as good in the coming games of the season, which was inaccurate. Now, I do still believe that those first 20 or so games were overrated because it kind of made up for the fact that LeBron teams always have growing pains, especially when there was a big offseason. It's still, obviously, they were not overrated. And with that combined with Anthony Davis being amazing and not looking like he's going anywhere, the Lakers definitely won that trade, and I was definitely wrong. So I wanted to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, the run that they have had. I'm not going to talk about the finals because, 1, we don't have the exact matchup yet, and 2, I am pre-recording a video assuming that the Miami Heat win that is going to go up when that game is over, so you might be getting 2 videos today, and that is going to be out if it's out, but the Los Angeles Lakers have pretty much killed it for the entire playoffs. Now, round 1, Damian Lillard kind of cooled down, and as a result, the Lakers got through that series rather easily. Dame carried them into the playoffs, but when the playoffs came around, he was nothing all that special. I believe they won game 1 with Dame having a good game, but after that, Dame was just pretty much his baseline average, which is still very good, but he wasn't like the best player in the NBA like he was for 2 weeks. Second round comes along, and they meet the Houston Rockets, and they beat them in 5 games. I expected this to be a 6 to 7 game series, but the Lakers took care of them pretty easily. And I, who was someone who was a big proponent of the Houston Rockets, was saying, hey, look out, guys. Houston could actually take out LA after that first game because they looked really good. But the Lakers figured them out very quickly and took care of business. And then now we get the conference finals versus the Denver Nuggets, the team that beat the Clippers, and the Lakers beat them pretty handily too. Now, I will say pretty much every game of this series was close, and I do think that should be taken into account because people act like playoff series, if they end in 5 games or even 4 games, they automatically weren't close. But like, if a team loses by 1 point in 4 straight games, that's still a close series. It just didn't go multiple games because they just couldn't quite close it out to close out each game. And that's kind of how it was for the Denver Nuggets in this series because they played really well, but unfortunately they just couldn't close out games as well as the Lakers did at that. And Game 5 was obviously last night, and LeBron James just went thermonuclear. And I actually have to talk about how I was wrong about LeBron as well, because I picked Kawhi as well as Giannis for most of the season as the 2 best players in the NBA. And I eventually revised that to say I thought LeBron was a little bit better than Giannis, But LeBron, here's the thing. It wasn't wrong to say Kawhi was the best player in the league, because if you think about it, kind of look at it like this. The Lakers last year were not in the playoffs whatsoever. LeBron was kind of out of the equation last year, and then Kawhi had that ridiculous playoff run. So it looked like there was a transition there, but really, LeBron was just taking a vacation season, essentially. Like, that might as well be what it was. And as a result, it seemed like that title had switched. But a lot of people who were smarter than me in this situation was like, hey, LeBron is going to come back and he's going to be awesome. And Giannis still deserved the regular season MVP. And I do believe that Kawhi is still right there with LeBron. But I am giving that title to LeBron James as the best player in the league, as he proved in Game 5, as he just eviscerated the Nuggets in the fourth quarter. The Lakers initially had a really big lead, and they blew it, and it came down to the fourth quarter, and LeBron James just went off. So for the game in total, he had 38 points on 60% shooting with 16 rebounds and 10 assists with only 2 turnovers. And if we look at the numbers from the fourth quarter of that game, LeBron had 16 points and 5 rebounds on 7 for 10 shooting, playing all 12 minutes of the fourth quarter. He led the Lakers in scoring. Anthony Davis was at 7 for the fourth after him. So fucking dominant. He scored over half of their points as one guy on 70% shooting, and he was not doing it on easy shots. He was hitting a bunch of really difficult shots. It was one of those moments where LeBron is hitting his jump shots and it's just like, there's nothing you can do. If LeBron's hitting his jump shots and like really hitting his jump shots, there is no solution to him. And there's usually no solution to him, but at least you can be like, I'll kind of give him jump shots because he's worse at those than he is at driving to the basket, so we'll take that. Well, you know what, pick your poison. But when he's hitting his jump shots, it's just over. It's kind of like what happened in 2018 versus the Toronto Raptors, because LeBron just could not miss from mid-range. And once that was happening, there's just nothing you can do. So LeBron, wrong about him no longer being the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league. Anthony Davis trade completely. I don't think the Lakers won any more than the Pelicans did. I think it's a win-win trade because both teams got pretty much the best that they could have out of each of those transactions. I was wrong about that trade being a potential huge mistake for the Lakers. I mean, I guess not really, because it could have been a huge mistake, but it's not going to be. So I was wrong to say that Lakers fans lost. I was wrong to tell Lakers fans that they lost that trade. Wrong to say that their regular season was overrated after those first 20 games because they proved to not be overrated after the fact. Wrong to say LeBron's not the best player in the league. And the Lakers are awesome. And I'm not a little bit of a spoiler alert because this video is going to probably go up. I do think the Lakers are going to win the championship. The degree of how well they will do, what the exact result will be, who will win Finals MVP is going to depend on which team it actually ends up being in the finals that they meet, whether it's the Celtics or the Miami Heat. But regardless, LeBron is going to get his 4th ring. I'm pretty confident saying that. It's going to look real bad if he doesn't and the Heat or Celtics actually win the finals. And I just said all of this, but I think the Lakers are going to get another championship. I think LeBron is going to get another championship. And the Lakers made every right decision. And I was wrong. I'm not above saying that I'm wrong. I have been wrong many times. And I also do want to say, because I've seen people say that back when the conversation around the bubble happened, where it was like, is the bubble going to have an asterisk? Is the bubble championship going to have an asterisk on it? I don't think this one should. And I understand why people would have that perspective, but I really don't think. Maybe I'm just adjusted to it, but I haven't seen any significant factors that lead me to believe that's like, this is a wildly different thing. And for things that are different, they're different for everybody across the board. You could argue that Jamal Murray wouldn't have been amazing if it wasn't for the bubble, and the Lakers had to face Jamal Murray. So I really don't believe that's been a factor in the Lakers winning this championship or getting a chance to. They haven't done it yet. I'm not going to crown them before it's happened. I definitely think this is fully legitimate. And yeah, that's the whole point of this video. I was fucking wrong. Lakers Nation, you got me. I still can't stand your fan base. Not even slightly. But yeah, the Lakers have made the finals. I'm pretty confident they're going to win the 2020 championship. And I'm a big motherfucking idiot. So, yeah. If you would like to support me being an idiot outside of just your subscription and your like, there is a Patreon where you can get some extra content as well as a Discord server. Still working on setting all that stuff up. It's been a bigger struggle than I anticipated. Go check that out if you're interested. That is the end of this video. Oh, also, there's a new podcast, so go check that one out. It's a very good episode. But that is the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more media content like this, and cue the outro music.